Welcome to Synopsis today. I will show you a sci-fi drama movie from 2021 titled, FINCH. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. 10 years have handed when you consider that a sun flare destroyed the ozone layer and purposed temperatures to upward push to 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 70 levels Celsius. Planet Earth have become a in large part uninhabitable wasteland scorched with the aid of using ultraviolet radiation and issue to extreme climate events. One of the few survivors, Finch, is a robot, engineer geared up with a warmth and ultraviolet resistance fit. He is out scouting for substances together along with his helper robotic. Dewey getting anything is left for him and his handiest buddy at home. Once the place has been scouted and cleared, he marks it to tune the development of factors round it. He drives through the abandoned city. Most of it he has already cleared. His in-shape offers off a caution signal. A typhoon is coming. He turns the truck round and floors the fuel-line pedal, the store. Bad news, Finch manages to pressure to his laboratory. That become as soon as owned with the aid of using the company he labored for earlier than the disaster. He enters the underground facility, cleans his match and will with air pressure. Finch's loss of life in his snug home. His pal Wilson is watching for him. I suggest his canine appropriate 12 months. He snuggles together along with his canine. He in reality loves him. Finch prepares Goodyear a pleasing meal. He observed for him and pours himself a drink. Goodyear waits patiently for Finch to get himself a plate. But today, he is fasting. Their dwindling substances are a problem. He places on Papa Love's Mambo, grabs books on the way to take care of a canine or do regular mundane tasks. And after the AI opens them up, scans and uploads all of the information they incorporate onto Finch's new project. In the meantime, Dewey looks after his little whims and desires. Finch is operating on growing a greater superior humanoid robot partner to attend to his canine. Once he passes away, Goodyear's well-being is the final aspect. He cares approximately. Finch has been doing an amazing deal of studies approximately radiation exposure. Those are in UV rays. He takes out, do his eyes making. Dewey stated he activates his humanoid robotic and starts off-evolved moving information to it, because attempts to begin a conversation, however the robotic would not respond. After a disenchanted sigh, the robotic ultimately begins off-evolved nodding his head, signaling that it is familiar with Finch. He is overjoyed that he has ultimately controlled to get one step similarly in that Goodyear may quickly have a brand new pal with a touch greater tweaking. He requested the robotic to mention something and it says something. Finch then asked the robotic to say something approximately itself. It has 4 suggestions along with now no longer harming humans. However, the maximum crucial rule that overrides all different rules is that during Finch's absence, he have to shield the canine in any respect cost. That's how essential precise year is to Finch. Suddenly, the energy is going out. Finch receives out and fixes the wind turbine. The energy comes returned at the robotic, attempts to speak to accurate year, however he simply relieves himself on its quickly to be extremities. The robotic later chooses the call Jeff. Meanwhile out of doors, Finch notices that the wind picking up in some other big hurricane is coming. He returns and hooks Jeff as much as the climate station to make a climate forecast. Jeff says that with inside the subsequent 24 hours for specific storms will converge on their genuine vicinity with a mild opportunity of making a superstar. Jeff predicts it will ultimate approximately 40 days. Finch eats his lengthy saved sweet peaches and receives to paintings on Jeff. He plans to get out of St. Louis. Their first-class wager is San Francisco. Fogg has the same opinion with time walking out. Finch UPS just switch rate. They want to get out earlier than the typhoon hits. He teaches him to stroll instant to stroll ahead and flip round. Jeff is familiar with and manages to stroll himself. However, Goodyear does not accept as true with the robotic due to the hasty departure. Most effective 72% of the information might be uploaded to Jeff, making it have the intellectual potential of an infant. Finch packs all the resources like food, espresso and water. Jeff is getting higher at walking. He's even capable of run. Finch requires Dewey, however has forgotten that he took out his eyes. He replaces them with a digital digicam that changed into with inside the lab. Finch, Goodyear, Jeff and can we make their manner to San Francisco in an RV. The starting of the power became now no longer what you will name clean for Jeff for the duration of the force. Jeff continues telling random data like St. Louis has over 600,000 residents, despite the fact that the metropolis is glaringly abandoned. They controlled to get away the hurricane for now. They make a prevent in a metropolis and Finch offers Jeff some lessons. Number 1. Take a look at the padlocks at the homes due to the fact if they're nonetheless intact, which means what turned into inner is nevertheless inner lesson. Number 2. The ozone layer is Swiss cheese. He is going on talking approximately the sun flare, however Jeff remains searching out the cheese as Finch struggles to open a door. Jeff simply takes it out inner. Jeff sees himself with inside the reflect for the primary time due to the fact discover a few popcorn walks out with Jeff and that they pop it. Jeff is excited. But the pleasure quick ends after they recognize the hurricane is near them. They try and outrun it, however it catches as much as them. Finch and Jeff head out of doors. He suggests Jeff a way to place spikes across the RV and join them with a cord and tells him, no slacking Goodyear's, cancer. Cinch is tired. So Jeff takes price. Finch secures the RV from the inner hides Goodyear and appears out of doors. A big tornado is getting closer. Jeff is going inner and holds on because the typhoon envelops them. The wires start to snap till their RV is putting with the aid of using an unmarried thread. The hurricane passes as quick because it began. Everyone is fine. Finch tells Jeff. He did an awesome task, however unfortunately, their tire is shredded. They have a spare, however no jack, no problem. They have Jeff. In the morning, Jeff attempts to talk in canine language, however it handiest irritates Goodyear and Finch. He factors out that there's no such aspect as canine speak in that Goodyear will believe him in time. San Francisco, 1522 miles, simply inquisitive behavior, each amuses and frustrates Finch while Jeff inquires approximately the idea of accept is true with Finch isn't always positive a way to describe it. So he tells them a tale from his life. How he hated his crew operating with him and robotics, however while it got here right all the way down to it, he usually had his group's lower back in it truly is trust. When Jeff tells him, he had a difficult time following the tale, Finch's situation begins off evolved to deteriorate. He drives to a eating place, leaves Goodyear in Jeff's car, and is going inner realizing he does not have a good deal time left. Jeff has problems with Goodyear and has stated that doggy will now no longer pay attention to him whilst Finch and Goodyear playhouse in a eating place, Jeff region with the RV setting on songs and pretending to power together along with his fooling round. He reduced the handbrake and the auto began out rolling. When Finch confronts him, he performs the, I do now no longer realize the way it happened. And while he requested him to convey with inside the fit, he offers him the thumbs up and drives backwards as a substitute remming the RV. He comes out and tells Fan. She's in fantastic motive force given that indicates him. What occurs while he is available in direct touch with daylight. He yells at Jeff and tells him, he's best one task to attend to Goodyear. He wishes to develop up as they hold the power. Jeff mopes with inside the again to cheer him up. Finch educate him to force and Dewey stiffens up after a minor hiccup in oversteering. Jeff calls himself, in great driving force, as soon as again. Goodyear does now no longer agree. But Finch is satisfied Jeff is learning. They camp at night time and notice the northern lights. Thanks to the fried ozone layer. Jeff wonders, if daytime is so dangerous, why do not they pressure at night time? Because the dirt smoke warmness and UV rays are predictable middle of the night brings out what isn't always predictable. People individuals who are ravenous can't be relied on with inside the morning. Finch is shivering on, Jeff looks after him with Goodyear's permission. They maintain on their manner. They arrived in a huge metropolis. Finch is resting. So, Jeff calls, can we, and that they move looking for resources. They input a health facility that has glaringly been looted, however Jeff has but to analyze that. Since wakes as much as discover that his partner is missing. He realizes, they're on the town and knows, it is horrific news. He has hassle at some stage and up. Jeff, please, will we to protect the Citadel res and is going upstairs, in which he unearths remedy food. And even a jacket for himself. Finch receives dressed and is going after Jeff. And Dewey has discovered a few snacks, however would not realize, there's a endure lure. Someone is watching, Finch from the shadows. So Jeff unearths a cupboard, opens it. And it is full of food, which he excitedly Dewey receives ripped in one half of through the trap. Finch hears this and unearths him. He on powers. Dewey had apologizes to me. This is the rumble Jeff makes and unearths him as well. Jeff tells him that he observed something to consume together along with his initiative. But due to the fact he lacks common sense, he did not see something incorrect with the location. There are human beings, they begin jogging with Finch slightly dealing with to live on his feet, because of his situation. They run to the RV and take off proper away. Car begins off-evolved up at the back of them. Finch palms the wheel to Jeff and tells him it turned into a entice and I walked proper into it and he's gone. He grabs a gun and tells Jeff that there could be no greater mistakes. From now on, in an unhappy voice, Jeff asks, "What could you want me to do?" He simply solutions pressure and passes out. When Finch regains consciousness, Jeff drives in silence, very uncommon for him. He additionally notices the automobile following them. They flip off the headlights as Jeff can see with inside the darkish Finch being extraordinarily concerned. He receives Jeff to floor, the fuel line, they may be using proper right into a typhoon. Finch grabs the wheel and turns the RV off the road. He desires to undergo the underpass. Jeff stops the automobile, however Finch presses down at the fuel line. Pedal. He attempts to pitch is better than the underpass, however it is too late, their sun panels get destroyed. Jeff receives out and pushes the RV, and together along with his great strength, the automobile pulls up, stops in short, after which drives away. Finch is going out of doors and unearths that everyone their sun panels are destroyed, blaming himself. Spread antique and tired, however Jeff will now no longer permit him to deliver up. Finch yells for him to close up. Jeff stands there, confused because it begins off-evolved to rain, uncertain of the way to treatment the scenario. After a few creeping round, Jeff comes interior, sits down and tells Finch that he thinks they may make it to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. In the purpose is due to the fact he believes in him. Finch tells Jeff a tale approximately why he does not believe humans and the way he discovered Goodyear in a backpack, so frightened and so alone, that he determined to guard him in any respect. Charges beneath makes humans killers, however it made I'd assume a coward. He asks him, "How are you able to agree within a person like that?" Still 480 miles to San Francisco. Jeff drives, all of the wall, Finch rests. Jeff turns the postcard over and reveals that the postcard is from Vinch's dad. He examines the opposite postcards and abruptly a butterfly flies towards his windshield. He pulls over, wakes Finch up and factors on the butterfly. Finch stretches out his hand and the daylight does now no longer burn him. He receives out and feels the daylight. The UV radiation has dropped sufficient that it is now no longer a danger. Road. He notices a flower and any other butterfly in ultimate with joy, they power on and notice flowering planes. Thanks receives dressed and that they determine to picnic out of doors with inside the daytime, something he isn't always accomplished in a decade. Jeff tells him that he noticed a image in his head of the three of them at the Golden Gate Bridge that he is by no means visible earlier than together along with his eyes. It's known as a dream. Jeff factors out that the postcard is signed through Finch's father and it is time for any other tale. Finch's father left him and his mom earlier than he became born. His father traveled the arena in on his 15th birthday. This postcard seemed out of the blue. He precious it. And whilst he turned into vintage sufficient, he sold this fit to affect him, however he by no means heard from him again. He tells him extra approximately the human contradictions that he himself has in no way been at the bridge and wishes he had made extra of the time he had. Jeff receives up and tells him to depart proper now. They'll be on the bridge in 18 hours. Finch factors out that he may not make it. Jeff guarantees to attend to suitable 12 months while he is gone. Finch takes excellent year's ball and that they play fetch. He offers Jeff the ball and teaches him that that is one in all us. Steps to building, except is true with the canine whilst Jeff walks round, with the ball in his hand and Goodyear follows him. Finch quietly tells him to simply throw the ball. Jeff does in his satisfied Goodyear brings the ball to him, however he offers it again to Jeff. They repeat this till Finch is coughing up blood and Jeff enables him to the RV whilst he asks if he can do something to assist him. Finch says he already has, shakes his hand and that they hug Jeff, being visibly saddened through his helplessness. In this state of affairs, Finch is going interior and lies down at the same time as Jeff packs up their things. Good. Your comforts, Finch. Finch pats his head and takes his final breath. Jeff and Goodyear have him cremated with inside the planes. After they mourn Finch's death, he feeds the canine and that they play catch. Jeff realizes that it's far his activity to attend to right year from now on. And they activate again. He befriends Goodyear, who ultimately accepts him once they ultimately arrived on the Golden Gate Bridge. Jeff makes a memorial signal for Finch at the fence. People have caught messages to love, once permitting them to realize wherein to discover them. This shows that there are greater survivors, dozens, perhaps even loads of cherished ones, have the possibility to be reunited. The global isn't always doomed. There are nevertheless locations which might be secure and getting better from the sun flare, a bittersweet ending. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you would like to look extra movies like this. If you would